Hi folks, how you doing? This is Iqbal with NVIDIA Daily Analysis. In this video, we will discuss NVIDIA stock price movement for today and we'll try to make an assessment for early next week. Now, let's get started. You see NVIDIA stock chart for today on your screen. So today was the last day before the actual split. So you notice some volatility early this morning as I expected yesterday. So Nvidia opened today below the yesterday closing price, and after opening, it did not have enough momentum to go further up, right? Overall market was under pressure and had some volatility. For example, let's take a look S&P. You see S&P 0.11% down. Let's take a look Nasdaq. It's 0.23% down, and also Dow Jones 0.22% down. And part of the reason today's data regarding unemployment and the employment was not so great. Let's take a look non-farm payroll. You see, non-farm payroll came higher than the forecast. It's 272K versus 182K. And the market did not take it as a very positive sign because the better the job market, the more pressure will be on inflation, and inflation may go further up. Let's take a look unemployment rate. So unemployment rate came higher than the forecast, and that's a good thing for the overall market. So unemployment rate is getting higher each month, right? It was 3.8% in March, and then 3.9% in April, and 4% in May. So overall, it's a mixed data. We see that unemployment rate is increasing, but at the same time, the payroll is also increasing for the non-farm jobs. Now, going back to the daily chart, let's take a look last 5 days, still 6.26% up, last 1 month 33% up, and last 6 months it's already 154% up. Let's take a look historical data for the weekly closing for Nvidia. So you see on your screen this week positive weekly closing. Before that we see negative weekly closing, and before that consecutive 5 quarters positive weekly closing. Sometime in March and February we had 11 consecutive weeks for the positive Nvidia closing. So those were very good times for Nvidia. So looking at this chart, there is a possibility that next week we can see positive weekly closing as well. Let me show you additional data regarding the stock split for Nvidia. I showed you this file before as well, but at this time I added these two lines 3 weeks after effective, 4 weeks after effective for the last split event, and also I did for prior stock split events as well, week 3 and week 4. You can see that the trend after the effective date, the week 1, week 2, you see that Nvidia trended up, but starting week 3, Nvidia started going down. So the percentage increase is going down from week 2 to week 3 and week 3 to week 4, but it's still 27% up at the end of week 4 from the split announcement date. Okay, but you see, take a look 190 versus 185. So from the effective date plus 4 weeks from there, we see that all the percentage increase almost vanished. So probably I would say it's 10% after 4 weeks from the effective date. In the prior split event, you see that same behavior. After week 2, we see a small increase on week 3 from 19% to 20%, but week 4, it started going down. So 17% upside from the announcement date. And the third stock split, that happened in 2006. We see that Nvidia started going down after week 3. So from week 2 to week 3, still we see the positive increase, but from week 3 to week 4, Nvidia went down. So you see that one interesting behavior at the end of week 4, the Nvidia stock split is even lower than the stock price Nvidia had on the effective date, 4.67 versus 4.03. So these data points may give us some idea how Nvidia can behave after the effective date, but please do not blame me if Nvidia does not follow the same behavior. My job is to present you as much relevant data as possible that can help us making the right decision. But in this stock split, the timing is very important. The prior stock split, you see, from the announcement date to the effective date, we had 2 months. And before that, from the announcement to the effective, we had 1 month. And also, on the third, we also had 1 month. But in this cycle, we just have 2 weeks from the announcement date to the effective date. And NVIDIA went up about 30% in just 2 weeks. It was 940 before the announcement. At this point, it's 1208. Now let's take a look. Where does forward PE stands for NVIDIA at this point? So today's closing price is 1208.88 and that gives 44.77 forward PE. Not much different from yesterday, but it still looks to me the forward PE is high compared with last 7 quarters. Now let's take a look other AI stocks. You see other AI stocks on the left side of your screen. So almost all of the AI stocks are negative today. So starting from Apple 1.24% up, AMD 0.65% up, Avago 0.38% up, but after that, Nvidia, Microsoft, Amazon, SMCI, Palantir, and SoundHound all negative closing today. Now let's take a look news regarding Nvidia. You see the news on your screen. The very first one that says US stocks closed slightly lower after jobs data. It's the same thing I pointed early in this video that the jobs data was not so great. It kind of mixed. So there's another one that says that stocks hit record highs, central banks cut rates, tight US jobs report dampens Fed easing hopes. So the jobs report this week, is not helping Fed regarding rate cuts. So another one that says US markets briefing payrolls data muddles outlook ahead of CPI and FOMC. So kind of same thing. The payrolls data is not helping much. It came higher than expected. One good thing regarding AI chips is this one that says Taiwan Semi rides AI wave reports 7.1 billion revenue in May. And that's a good news for Nvidia as well. So sales in May increased about 30%, reaching 229.6 billion. So that says that this quarter again is going to be a good quarter for Nvidia as well in terms of revenue. So another one about Nvidia that says Nvidia is riding AI chip demand to stock market glory. Why Broadcom is cashing in. I don't know if you still remember Broadcom earning is coming. So it's scheduled June 12th, Wednesday next week. We see that the Broadcom stock is doing a good job since last 2 days. So Broadcom was again up today, 0.38%. As you see on your screen, nothing is scheduled for Monday and Tuesday also. Nothing big is coming up. But Wednesday is a very important day. We see that the CPI and the core CPI data is coming. And also on Wednesday, we see that the FOMC meeting about the interest rate and also Mr. Powell's speech after the FOMC meeting. Wednesday is a big day, both regarding CPI and FOMC meeting. So this FOMC meeting and Mr. Powell conference will give us some idea regarding the rate cut gonna happen this year or not, and overall what they think about inflation. And Thursday also we have PPI data coming up, and that's also very important. And Friday nothing much. So yeah, next week is very eventful week, and we might see a stock market under pressure on Tuesday and some kind of volatility we can expect. So that will be very interesting. On one hand, we are getting the stock split early next week. At the same time, these big events will add some volatility in the market. So I'm guessing on Tuesday may not be a very good day for the overall market and the AI stocks, including Nvidia. We might see some volatility or stocks under pressure. But at the same time, that might give us a good buying point on Tuesday. That's all about NVIDIA analysis and assessment for early next week. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you more tomorrow. Take care.